Yo, I'm Godin and I'm making a game in solo. And this month, I didn't do what I said I would in the last recap. Because of the holiday season, my working hours were reduced, so I decided to take a step back and maybe take on a fun side project. Well, depending on whether your definition of fun is the same as mine. And that's why I finally decided to fix something I had been avoiding for a long time. Today's video will be about an important change I made to the main character, why I thought I could avoid doing it for a while, and how it ended up being a great decision. Usually my devlogs are about adding new features or new minigames, but this month was a bit different. Instead of building new things, I went back and fixed small annoyances that were starting to pile up. The kind of things that aren't make or break, but can make development less enjoyable in the long run. One of those annoyances was linked to the main character, and more specifically to its rig. In games and animation, a rig is basically the invisible skeleton inside a character. When animating, we manipulate the bones of this simplified skeleton, and the character attached to this rig follows. A rig is also what Unreal uses when processing animation operations like blending or physics, and the better the rig is, the more stable and nicer the result is in engine. The annoying part is that every software tends to have its own rules and presets for rigs, how bones are named, how they are oriented, things like that. And Unreal is flexible enough to handle custom rigs, but it usually requires a few extra steps. A while back, I redesigned my main character. The geometry was completely updated to improve the overall design, but I kept the old rig that was made in Blender. At the time, my reasoning was that it was better to live with a few small annoyances than to convert the rig to Unreal Standard and risk breaking all the animation I had already made. The philosophy was simple: if it works, don't fix it. Unreal has a lot of powerful animations tools built in, but those tools work best when your character follows Unreal Standard setup. Because mine didn't, I constantly had to do extra work behind the scenes. Nothing was broken, but everything took just a bit more time than it should have. And I started to feel like this was one of those issues that could grow from mildly annoying to genuinely problematic as the project got bigger. And that's what we call a technical debt, small shortcuts that turn into big problems. So, I had two options: stick with the if it works don't fix it approach, or fix it now while it was still manageable. What really helped me decide was realizing that not too long ago, Unreal drastically improved its animation retargeting tools, which is used to convert animation made from one rig to another one. That made the whole thing way less scary, and honestly, when I took a step back and looked at my workflow at the time, it didn't make much sense anymore. I was rigging my character in Houdini using Blender conventions and exporting to Unreal. Talk about a mess, eh? On top of that, after months of working on minigames, I kind of wanted a change, and since December was going to be less productive anyway because of the holidays, it felt like the perfect time to take on a side project. So I decided, let's do it now. And honestly, it went way better than expected. Unreal's new retargeting tools are much more powerful and robust now. Once I understood how the system worked and had the workflow set up, I was able to move my animations to the new rig without breaking everything, almost in a single click. That was a huge relief. And now that I understand this new retargeting workflow better, I feel much more confident about making characters with very different proportions in the future. On top of that, I was able to stress test my new character workflow in Houdini. If you remember, a couple of months ago, I said in a devlog when I showcased this workflow that setting it up probably took more time than doing it elsewhere, but that the procedural aspect would make it more flexible and that I'd probably get that time back later. Well, turns out I was right, very right. Being able to deeply modify a rig without breaking the character attached to it or redoing everything by hand is completely a game changer for me. Even the blend shape stays intact when I modify the character's geometry. And so I took this opportunity to finally add something my main character really needed: facial expressions. In Blender, using the sculpting tools, I created a bunch of facial expressions: happy, angry, surprised, excited, and I separated the eyes and the mouth so that I can mix them together. For example, an angry mouth with happy eyes can give a tense, excited expression, and this way I can add a lot more variety. Seeing this in-game during dialogue or cutscenes makes a huge difference, and the character finally feels alive. And once that big fix was done, I went back to working on the storytelling minigame. This time, I could focus on background animations that play while the player is telling a story. There's still work to do, but even these first animations already makes the minigame feel more dynamic and more fun to watch. It's slowly coming together. And with that, this marks the end of 2025 for Silk Road Project. This year was incredibly important for me. It's the year this project stopped being just a hobby and become my full-time focus. I left my previous job and now I'm working entirely on this game, and that was a big step, and 2026 should be another important year for Silk Road Project. The main highlight will probably be the release of a short playable prototype. Nothing huge, around 30 minutes of gameplay, but enough for players to understand what kind of game this is, how it feels, and where it's going. That prototype would be a massive milestone. So yeah, that's it for this month and for this year. Thank you so much for watching and for your comments and for your support. Once again, don't forget to subscribe and wishlist Silk Road Project on Steam if you want to help. I'll see you in 2026 for more Silk Road Project. Take care and Happy New Year!